What is up, you guys? Welcome back to No Pilled. Now, before I get started today, I wanted to just talk about something really quickly that is going to be in an upcoming video. And just to get to know you guys a little bit better, I kind of want to do a Q&A video. So I'm going to write into my community tab. I'm going to put a post up where you guys can post your questions, and then I'll be answering them in the video following this one. Now, what I wanted to dive into today is this issue of transracialism. So I've been seeing this like all over my feed. So today I'm going to be reacting to transracialism. Let's get right into it.
What's up, guys? Aldo here with PragerU. Today I'm at UCLA to ask students about blackface and this new phenomenon of woman face. Why is it socially acceptable to be transgender but not transracial? Let's go find out. I want to show you a couple pictures of prominent figures rocking blackface and get your reaction to it. Is that all right?
Very interesting. I did not. Okay.
This is Rachel Dolezal, who was a president of a chapter of NAACP, who identified as transracial. She said that she was born in the wrong body and that she identified as black. This is Ted Danson at the Friars Club Roast in New York City. This is Sarah Silverman in blackface on her TV show. Yeah. What do you think of when you see these images?
It's not good. It's really bad.
Do you think people can identify as a certain race?
No, I do not believe you can identify as a certain race.
You can't become something that is recognized off of skin color if you weren't that skin color your whole life.
Right, because it's biological.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think that people who claim transracial are making a mockery of real black people?
Yes.
Okay, so now we're going to talk about woman face. Have you guys heard the term woman face?
No.
Have you heard this term? So this is men who identify as women, and then they benefit socially and financially from many cases. Do you guys know Dylan Mulvaney?
No.
I think that is a completely different story. Being transgender is something where you can genuinely be born with different biological features or whatever, and that doesn't contribute to gender or like societal norms at all. I think those are two completely different things. Because race has no biological connections whatsoever. It's purely based off of physical appearances.
I just asked you if it was biological. You said yes.
You can't change your biological sex, but you can identify as the other sex. And that's why they say gender is like a sliding spectrum. You can be one thing, but identify as something else. So that would be exactly the same thing as transracial. You are not really that thing, but based on physical appearance, you are identifying as the other thing because you feel, you actually are of that race or that you were born into the wrong race. Now, race is 100% biological.
Tell me how you racially identify.
I identify as Korean. I used to live in Korea. I was living there for 1 year. I love the culture, I love the history, the people. I've put myself through a lot of pain. I've had a lot of surgical procedures to have more of a Korean aesthetic. I spent a lot of time learning the language, learning how to cook Korean foods. I came out earlier this year sharing that with the world. People didn't really get it. Not everybody will understand straight away, but I hope over time people will be kind of more accepting with me.
Transracial does not exist, and I think it is very, very harmful for us to push the narrative that it is possible to switch races.
I was not happy the way I was. So I went to Korea and I had the most incredible experience of my life. It changed me, gave me happiness, and people have no right to take that happiness away from me.
I can't sit up here and say, oh, I'm suddenly a white woman. And if you as a white person say, oh, I can be black or I can be Korean, and I can't swap and benefit from the privilege that you benefit from, then it's clearly not an equal exchange.
He's clearly not a Korean guy, but his identity, he said, was because he actually went there and experienced the culture, and he really identified with the culture. He loved everything about it. And so if you ask me, as much of a controversial issue as this is, and like how much you really can't change your race, I don't even look at this. I wouldn't even call this cultural appropriation. I would say this is appreciation. He's acknowledging the culture and admiring it and giving it appreciation and is glorifying this culture, right? So I don't even think that would be offensive. And a lot of the times people of the culture or race that people are choosing to identify with are not even the ones who are offended. It's people who are offended for them on their behalf. I think the issue comes in when we look at the parallels that this has with transgenderism. Now, we are supposed to accept transgenderism and whatnot, but then we won't accept transracialism. Now, I think if we're going to cherry pick like that, then we have to accept all people for whatever they want to identify with. Now, I don't agree with this, but if you're somebody who thinks that we have to accept the fact that a person born in a man's body wants to be a woman and identifies as a woman, we have to accept the fact that they are a real woman, then we also have to accept the fact that this guy is really Korean. And, I had a conversation with my oldest child, and she had asked me, "What do you think is going to be the next trans movement?" And I said, "I wasn't sure. What do you think?" And she said, "Trans age." And we started talking about all the problems that could come with that. And that's a really scary thought. Now, if we're going to have to accept transgenderism, then we have to accept transracialism. And when we have to accept transracialism, well, we're going to have to also accept trans ageism, are we not?
These are all celebrities who have been called out, criticized, and condemned for cultural appropriation. Has anyone here ever called someone out for cultural appropriation? You too? You have? You have? Yep. Has anybody here ever thought twice about wearing something or doing something, even cooking something, out of fear of being accused of appropriation?
Oh, get a life.
Yeah, what was it?
My daughter had braids and she wanted me to get braids that were just like hers.
Why her but not you?
She's half black and half white.
Okay.
And so I just think that some things should stick with those cultures.
So when I was a kid, I used to wear like cornrows and stuff like that, braids, all kinds of different braids. And not once in my mind did it ever cross my mind that it was a black person only hairstyle. I just thought it looked cute. I've seen it on white people. I've seen it on black people. It's a good way to get your hair out of the way for, skating, dance, whatever sport you do. I did boxing and figure skating. So braiding my hair was a, common thing in my youth. Not only black people need to wear protective styles, we all do. Everyone needs to protect their hair. As I have really like fine thin hair, and if I don't protect my hair, especially in braids at night, it breaks really easily. It gets damaged and stuff like that. Also, I color my hair, so we wear protective hairstyles too. I used to even wear this like a silk bonnet to bed. They say that braids are a African hairstyle. We got Dutch braids. We got French braids. Have you never seen Vikings before? American Indians, braids. Medieval people, have braided their hair. Everyone has done it. Now, if I want to braid my hair, I'm going to do it. I don't give a shit if you like it or don't, if you're offended by it. You can cry me a freaking river. At the end of the day, it's my hair. I'm going to do with it whatever the hell I want. I don't care if you're offended.
Well, no matter whether you believe it's harmful or you think people should just be allowed to do what they want, there is no doubt this is a hot button topic that people are passionate about. Dr. Neil Lester, a professor of English at Arizona State University, right?
I am, yes.
And you've published, lectured, and taught extensively the area of African American studies. What do you think about appropriation? Do you think this is a real thing, something that people need to be cognizant of? And if so, why?
Absolutely, absolutely. Well, because if we in fact are trying to look at the humanity of other people, and we are trying to live in a place where we are trying to be respectful and mindful of folks, then we need to be aware of things that are important to other cultures that don't necessarily look like us or share the same values. So it is a thing, and people need to be aware of.
Can anybody appropriate?
Anybody can appropriate, yes.
Not just white people?
Absolutely. Appropriation is intersectional. So old people can appropriate youth culture can appropriate old folks. People who are not incarcerated can impersonate, prisoners or those who are incarcerated. Men appropriate women's attire for the sake of funny and mocking. So absolutely anybody can do it, and everybody on some level may have flirted with it.
Okay, but a lot of the time that people that I've seen are called out for this, it's not that they were making fun or mocking in some way. It was just that they had adopted a fashion or a style or whatever.
Sharing cultures is something we've done since the beginning of time. If you are so offended because somebody is borrowing a hairstyle or a clothing choice that's popular within your country of origin or within your race of people, which, race is such a broad term because generalizing somebody as just white or just black or just Asian is really reducing them to a skin color, and one skin color doesn't have like a common culture with another one. We are individual people that come from individual nations. Now, if you live in Europe, okay, there's so much freaking diversity. You're not going to try and compare a Latvian person to an Italian person and say, well, they're both white, so like same culture, right? Like there's so many differences. Or I'm not going to say, someone from India is the same thing as somebody from Indonesia. Like totally different. They may be on the Asian continent, but they're not even remotely the same. So what we do, if you live in a multicultural society or in a melting pot type country, like the one that I live in, for example, you are supposed to take the best parts from the various cultures and it forms your country's identity. It says right here, cultural appropriation is the inappropriate or unacknowledged adoption of an element or elements of one culture or identity by members of another culture or identity. This can be especially controversial when members of a dominant culture appropriate from minority cultures. The majority of this time, what they mean is white people. White people are not allowed to do anything if it's not originally white. Why are you guys, if you are not Jew, why are you wearing jeans? Like, why are you walking around wearing denim? Okay, Levi Strauss and Jacob Davis were both Jewish. Okay, they invented denim. Okay, they invented denim jeans. So why are you wearing them? Why are you using a cell phone? You're not Finnish. Who do you think you are to be using modern technology that's not from your culture? Why are you speaking English in North America? That's a white language, right? That comes from England. You're not English. We see something we like from a culture. We're like, oh, that's really nice. I like it. When you use it and you're not making mockery of it and making fun of it and stuff, then that is appreciating a culture, or you're appreciating something that said culture has invented or come up with. This is how we find common ground. This is how we thrive as a society. And this is literally what we're supposed to do so we can all get along. Imitation is the sincerest form of flattery. And if you get offended by that, then you're just a crybaby and you want to be a victim and you want to be oppressed and you want to complain about something. Now, like this video, share it, and subscribe to No Pilled if you haven't. A lot of my viewers are not subscribed. It'd be really great to expand this community and get more people commenting down below. I will try to respond to every single comment that I get as they come and continue these conversations in a positive way. And hopefully we can get more people to find common ground with each other. See you guys in the next one.